Morning, everyone. Uh, Again, I always start this asking or wondering or hoping that our weeks were, prosperous. Our weeks were a blessing to others as well as to ourselves, to our health, to our mental. Um, I started the same way every week. I'm very appreciative to the followers, the people who watch, like, subscribe, pay attention. But again, it's the purpose of this is not to gain followers or gain fame. The purpose of this is to help, is to grow, is to rejuvenate even myself, others who are dealing with mental issues, who are dealing with grievances, who are dealing with pain, sorrow, doubt, unbelief. It's just just to uplift. And I think it's key, right, that you do something a lot, like multiple times a week. Obviously, I do this once a week, but there's a lot of things, a lot of different things I do for my mental, from yoga, different stretches, Pilates, reading scriptures every day, like praying, fasting, church. It's working out. It's just anything that I can grasp, grab a hold of to help myself, to grow myself, to challenge myself. I think that's the biggest key from all this is challenging yourself to just grow. Um, and if you do that, like, I think you can overcome a lot in life, because life is gonna have its struggles. Like, that's gonna happen. That's never gonna. I don't think that ever changes. No matter how much money you have, no matter how happy you are, your job, your circumstances. Like, life is gonna throw curveballs at you. And so, uh, the key thing I think of, and I was thinking of these last few days, is not losing yourself. Like, it's so easy to get lost when you're chasing dreams, goals, when you're chasing ambitions, and you sit in these different rooms and you're around these different people, who sometimes are not like-minded as you, and so, but they want you to go in their direction because they're successful. It's so easy to just follow that. Like, it's so easy to just draw toward that, and not like your principles. Like, whatever you did to get to where you're at, I don't think you should change that. Like, should you evolve? Yes. Should you adapt? Definitely. But I just don't think, I don't like, change is such a strong word. Like, I'm not gonna do things that other people do that goes against, like, my morals or my ethics, because I think that pursuit of whatever it is you're pursuing, you're gonna have moments where you're gonna have to make a decision, about your character, things that don't align with you know what has gotten you this far in life. Like, it's so easy to just sell yourself, so easy to just forget all that you've done, and the path that you've taken, right? Just to, get a buck or a position, a title, an increase. And it doesn't feel the same. Like, I never want to do anything that goes against my principles. And again, I always say this, and I'll continue to say this: I'm not perfect. I'm not sitting here on this, mic and telling you how great I am, how I'm a guru, how everything I do is flawless. That's not true. I make mistakes. I have choices, every day. I make decisions every day. I'm flawed, imperfect, um, and I'm working on me. And the way I work on me is challenging myself daily, in my decisions. Like, I think it used to be a saying when I was younger, what would Jesus do, right? And so a lot of people don't really, you don't hear it anymore. Um, but I always ask myself, is what I'm doing going to make my mother and my father proud? I think that's a better, like, I'm always going to say, what would Jesus do, like, in that? But I mean, truthfully, I'm not Jesus Christ. And I never will be. He was the only perfect man, never walked this earth in my beliefs. But, like, I'm never gonna be that. I strive to be more Christ-like, but, like, I want to make my mother and my father proud. I was having a conversation, I think yesterday, or day before yesterday, with some of our student athletes in regards to that, right? Like, everything, like, how do we put ourselves in position to do the right thing all the time. I think it's based on your upbringing. Like everybody, because people weren't raised in my house. My mom always said this, right? My dad always would say this, like, you can't expect people to act or be like you or respond how you respond if they weren't raised in your household. So they're going to have different morals, different beliefs, different ethics. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's their beliefs. So if they believe strongly in it, right, and they can justify it in their mind, they're correct. Just like in my mind, I'm correct. So I can't say they're wrong. I can't say they're right. That's their beliefs. And so because they grew up in a different atmosphere, they're not going to have the same responses. They're not going to have the same thought processes. And so I can't judge them because of that, right? Like, that's their life. This is my life. Um, but I think that's what kind of holds you to like a certain standard, right? Whatever household standard you had, like, that's what keeps you, that should keep you grounded. Like, I'll never forget me. I'm from the 7-1 New Orleans, right? Like, I was born and raised there. I always tell the story of how I was put out multiple schools. I never truly went to the same school every year. My mom was buying new uniforms every year. I would get a letter in the mail, almost, right, that stated, "Hey, we're pleased to tell you that your son is on honor roll or 3.5 GPA, but we regret to inform you that your son is no longer welcome in our school because of behavior issues," right? Even I think ninth grade year, maybe when I was at McDonald 35, my ninth grade year, I had morning detention every day, and that was just because my behaviors, right? But that's when I got into an environment that wasn't conducive to how I was raised. Like, I wanted to be someone I wasn't, and I paid for that because I have a lot of associates because I went to a lot of schools. Um, right, wrong, and different, but it also made me who I am today. I wouldn't change anything about it because it happened. And it's a way for me to help the youth now, right, in their decision makings. Like, nothing I do is perfect. Nothing I do is going to be great. Like, I can make it seem that way, right? I can make it seem like I'm this guru and that I thought all this up by myself. But the truth is, I didn't. Like, I'm just living this life. I've said this before. I'm living this life the same day you're living your life. We're living today, which is the 6th of April. Like, we're living it at the same time. Might be a different time zone, but guess what? Today is the 6th. And so I've never lived the 6th of April in 2025 before. And so I'm just winging this and seeing how it goes. And, it'll just be, it's a test, it's a trial. Like, it works, it don't, it don't. I get the 7, and then I get the 8, then I get the 9, and so on and so forth. But like, I think the key, right, is as you're growing through this. When I was younger, I made those decisions, and growth is not making the same decision over and over and over and over, right? That you might get the same choice, but you're improving on your decision making. Like, when you're stagnant, you're doing the same thing over and over. That's, again, we've heard that's the definition of insanity. But your true growth, is when you have the same choice, and you're making an informed decision instead of being impulsive. And that's what I was when I was younger. But as you get older, and you're pursuing a family, you're pursuing a spouse, you're pursuing a career, you're pursuing education, like, different career backgrounds and stuff like that. Like, as you do this chase, as you run your race, you can't lose who you are. You can't lose what that part of you, right, that got you this far. Because it's easy to conform. It's easy to be like everyone else. It's easy to do what everyone else is doing, especially if it's the hip thing, especially if it's a trend. But, like, it's is it worth it? Is it worth it to I mean, again, you go to the scripture, to gain the whole world but lose your soul. Like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it my way. That's just how I, at this point in my life, right? And so sometimes I have to understand that I'm talking to the youth, or I'm speaking to youth, and so in that moment, they're not ready. They don't understand because they really haven't lost anything. Now, again, if you were mature enough, right, and you've lost things you've had and lost, is that you receive it differently because you've had something that you really want taken away. But if you've never really lost anything, right, you've never had your heart broken, you've never been, bankrupt, broke, you've never lived paycheck to pay. Like if you've never had any adversity, it's really hard to go through adverse situations because you've not conditioned for it. And that's the part where you can lose yourself chasing or pursuing something monetary or anything, right? Anything in life, like I say, relationships, a spouse, anything. Like because you want something so bad, you got to be willing to say, enough is enough. Like that's not worth it. That's not worth my morals. Like, yes, the money's great. Yes, it's life changing, but what do I have to do for it? And then what am I willing to sacrifice for it? You there's a price to pay for success. There's a price to pay for anything you really, really want, right? You have to have an understanding with yourself, what you're willing to pay. Some things like my joy is not, I'm not willing to pay that. I'm not willing to pay the price of joy for anything. Not anymore. When I was younger, yeah, because I didn't really understand joy. I didn't really understand uh heartache. I didn't really understand peace, like true peace. True peace is different, and it's. I don't think there's nothing more peace. My peace, obviously, as I'm older now, is so important, and I'm not willing to give it up for anything, no amount of money, because that's why you see so many wealthy people, right? They're still miserable. And when you're on the other side of you, like why they so why they miserable? Why they deal with that? Why they worried about this? Man, they rich. They got everything they need. Like truly, yes, they have everything they need on the outside, right? But what do they have? What are they missing on the inside? What did they really give up for what they have? And that's the part that we don't really know. We just see what they tell us. We just see what's on social media. That's the outside of it. That's the layer that can be positioned a certain way to make it seem fun, to make it seem worthwhile. But on the inside, right, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're stressed out about. You don't know what anxiety they have. You don't know what, fears they have. You don't know what they traded for that success. And that's the point of not losing yourself. I was posed with a question obviously about my life, where I am currently right now, and how I feel about it, and could I have done different things to be in a better position. I always believe that, yes. But I do stand on the fact that everything is growth. Like nothing, I don't look at anything as a negative. Like that word, I'm learning to use different words for my life now. And so the word negative, it's just a lesson. There's no negative. There's no positive. There's no negative. That's a battery. I've said that before. Like life is good and evil. Life is lessons, blessings. Uh, Everything I go through, I grow through. And again, 10 years ago, I heard it right, but I didn't think like this because I just was go, 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 and not understanding that everything has a purpose and everything uh, there's a plan for everything. Like just going through everything and just running through it fast just to get it done. What am I learning from it? And that's the challenge I have to myself right now at 36 years old. I'll be 37 in August. Like, how can I challenge myself to improve? What am I missing, and how can I get it without losing myself in the process? Like, I'm not willing to give up anything in me now uh, that's precious, like time. I don't waste time. I try not to, especially on things that are irrelevant. Like, and the thing that I really struggle with, right, is I'm very combative or argumentative, uh, debating. Like it could be little minute things, and I have to do a better job of just letting you. You know what? My phrase now is "you're right." Like I'm not gonna argue with you. You're right. And so sometimes I still go down that rabbit hole, Um, and so that's the thing that I'm trying to work on. That's something that I want to improve within myself that I just don't. It's not worth it. You're right, and just move on, right? Because like life is short. Every moment, every minute is precious. Like today, like no matter what we want to complain about, and I complain, like, but life is not as bad as we think. Life is definitely not as bad as we think. Life is definitely not as bad as it could be. Like, and so I've learned not to trade time. Like time is so precious. I've learned not to waste time. I've learned to maximize my time, to try to redeem time, to sleep less, like efficient sleep. Like I'm gonna probably get 5 hours, 6 hours of sleep, but trying to get a deep sleep in that, right? Instead of having 2 hours of deep sleep, like resting my mind, thinking on the right things before I get ready to go to sleep, put my phone down, turning the light down on my phone so that I can go into a deeper sleep sooner, so I can have the maximum amount of time sleeping. And so those are little things I work on, but that's that happens throughout the day. Like, what are you focusing on? That when you go to sleep, your mind still races and you don't get quality sleep. And so then that affects my next day. And so then it just piles up, right? And then I have a week where I'm restless or tired or, exhausted. And so those are, like I said, little things I'm challenging myself on. Even my breathing when I'm working out, like stuff like that. And so, but in my endless pursuit, just of, perfection of whatever goals, I have like this wall I can put up, right? That enough is enough. It's not worth it. And it's not quitting. Like it's just, yeah, that's not worth my joy. That's not worth my peace. Like the amount of money I'll give that away. I'll spend whatever it is, right? Because at the end of the day, I think I work hard enough. Like I'm a hard enough worker that I can get it back. Like I'm gonna make the money. The money exchanges hands every day, every moment. So it's not like money. I don't worship money like that. Like as long as I'm in good health, the gifts that I have, right, I can make money. I can't make time, and so I have to. That's a commodity that's precious to me. So if it wastes my time, I don't want no part of it. But again, like I said, 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. I'm doing everything, any and everything, and I wasted a lot of time pursuing things that I shouldn't have. I could have spent my time better on things that could have grown me and improved me for this day. And so I'm still playing catch up, but I'm in a good position. And so that's really what it is, right? That's really like a lot of the stuff that we deal with. We really put ourselves in these situations. Like we really put ourselves in situations because of how we think and how we react and what we lose in the process. Like again, I never want to lose who I really am. Like I never want people to be, see me or hear me or around me and just like that's not him. Like I never want that. Who I am is who I am all the time. I'm never gonna sell myself, sell my soul for a buck, for an opportunity, because I think I'll make another opportunity. My gift that I was given at birth, I've refined it and I'll continue to work on it. I'm blessed to have it. That gift will make room for me. I don't need to sell out. Neither do you. Like it's if it costs you too much, if it costs you your time, if it costs you your peace, don't do it. Something else will come. Don't sell yourself out. It won't be worth it. It'll add more stress. It'll add more demand to you. And again, we have the ability. Like you can do it. I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying you shouldn't. We can do anything we want to if we put our mind to it. But is it worth it? It's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're gonna sit back and say that was worth it, or you're gonna say, yeah, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have participated in that. Right now, you see a lot of stuff going on in the world that people, did 20 years ago and thought, hey, look, it's 20 years, it's over, that's done with. Now you got people, it's resurfacing, right, wrong, and indifferent. Like it's not judging people, but that's the type of world we live in. That when you do certain things, right, what goes on in the dark comes into the light. And so I try to be very mindful what I participate in, because then you have the answer for it later on in life. You got to answer for it with your kids, or answer for it with your parents, or answer for it with your coworkers, your friends, on something that you didn't even think was that big of a deal, right? But then it becomes a real big issue later on. And so we have to be selective in what we deal with. We have to be selective in how we handle things. We have to be selective in what we allow in our life. That's really what it is. Everything doesn't need a response. Everything doesn't need an answer. Everything doesn't need your participation. Some things you gotta get to the point where you say, you know what, it's not working. I'm good. Great idea, great opportunity. I appreciate it, but that's not for me. God bless you. Wish you the best with that, but I'm not. I don't want to get involved. And you got to start protecting yourself, protecting your peace. That's one thing I've learned as I've aged, as I've gotten older. Your peace is so important. Your joy is so important, and the world can't give you that. The world can take it away, really, with your decisions, right? But really it's you taking it away, because your influences, right, are the things you allow to affect you. That's really the truth. Like, it's all on us. I don't blame anyone for anything that happens to me. It has nothing to do with anyone. Again, we go through it, right? I have a choice. I make a decision. There's a consequence, and then there's a response. That's it. That's life. That's how I believe life is. And so when I have this choice, right, I have to think about it before I just react. And from that choice, I make a decision. That decision is going to have a consequence, be it good or bad, however you want to say it, right? And in that consequence, I have to now respond. In my response, and then you start it back over. My response is a choice, a decision, a consequence, and then a reaction, a response. Like, that's life. And when you look back on your life, those four things are your life. Look back at everything that's went through in your life. I promise you, it narrows down to those four things: a choice, a decision, a consequence, a response. And that's how I look at everything now. And again, I'm not perfect. Every day, I'm flawed. I fail. I make mistakes. Every day I do. But I don't want to do the same thing the next day. So I'm gonna make a new mistake, but I'm not gonna keep failing at the same thing. There's no growth in that. There's no achievement in that. Um, that's just that's my thoughts. That's my mindset about that, right? Like, no matter what I pursue, I'm never gonna lose myself. Not anymore. I've done it in the past. I've regretted it, right? But it's a part of life. It's got me to where I am now. But it's things I won't ever do again, because it's not worth it. Do not lose yourself. Do not put yourself in situations that you will regret 20 years from now, that your kids, that your generations will regret that you did, that they'll hear about it when you're long gone. Like, that's important to think about your legacy. Don't impact your legacy for a right now decision. Quick, easy, fast. Like, that was on my mind. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm praying for everyone. I love y'all. Let's keep this going. Be blessed. Keep working. Don't stop. Pursue your dreams. Just don't lose yourself. I love y'all.